Good morning. I now call to order the 11 a.m. special meeting to approve the 2025-26 annual financial report and cost report. We're going to now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. We'll now take roll, starting at the end of the table.
Ramirez, present.
Janie, Ruddy, present.
Christy, Chong.
Furry, present.
Derek Barr is present.
Ryan Hudak, present.
LaShakia Moore.
Thank you. And just for the public, Derek Bars is joining us via telephone and online. So let's move on with the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda today?
We do not.
Okay, then I'd like a motion to approve the agenda as stated.
Move approval.
I have a motion by Ms. Chong,
Second.
second by Ms. Ruddy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously. We will move forward with the agenda. So that leads us to Board Action Item 3.01, and we welcome Ms. Patty Wormack.
Good afternoon, Chairman Furry, board members, and Superintendent Moore. I'm here to present the annual financial report today. We will be pulling up the ESC 145 report that is on board docs, and we'll be focusing on the first couple pages, which do represent our major funds. This is very similar information that we have already gone through in the past 3 meetings during the summer. I just wanted to update on the final numbers and where we are at. I will focus on the first is our general fund, which is our main operating fund. This is what we tend to focus on the most, as this is what pays for the vast majority of our salaries, textbooks, classroom supplies, things like that. We did estimate very conservatively of where we were going to end up. During our budget meetings, we were able to, after doing the budgets for all the other capital funds, we were able to utilize capital funds to maximize our transfers out. I am very happy to report with that hard work and strategizing with senior management and our superintendent, our general fund balance is at $11.2 million.
Wow.
The unassigned amount is $10.2 million. When you take that unassigned amount and do the calculation for the financial condition ratio, it is 7.8%, which falls in line with board policy of 5 to 8%. So we are pleased to announce through all the hard work and working with our capital funds and our sales tax fund, we were able to achieve that high mark.
Outstanding effort.
Thank you. The next fund on here, the first 2 pages, like I said, are our major funds. These are determined based on a calculation that is given to us by the auditors, and it is based on your percentage of assets and liabilities. So our next major fund is Fund 290, which is our major debt service fund. This is all of our COPS, and we do continue to pay off $5 million of debt each year. And I will just reiterate what Mr. Furry had mentioned in the last meeting, that we did refinance our COPS to 2024 with a savings of $700,000. We do have our financial analysts always looking at those options for us and bringing those to us and the superintendent whenever the market does look favorable for us. The next major fund is our 370 fund. That is our 1.5 mil. We have continued to maintain a healthy balance in this fund. It did go down about $500,000. We have built this fund up after COVID to make sure if we have any catastrophic items that happen, hurricanes or things like that, that we can, or like we just recently had HVAC chiller go down at FPC that cost $6 million that was not planned for. That is the purpose of keeping this fund balance very healthy. So I'm happy to report that we are in pretty much the same place that we were last year with this fund. Our Fund 390 is our 1.5 mil and our half cent sales tax and our impact fees. This remains the same as the Matanzas expansion project has neared completion. We will continue to see this fund balance go up as the impact fees will not be used unless we have future expansions. And the very last column is what's called other governmental funds. These are all it includes all our non-major funds. It includes the school food service fund, which, as we had talked about, ends with a fund balance of 0, and it includes our smaller debt funds and our smaller capital funds. This here is a summary of all of our funds in the school district. This is summarized in a format that is required by DOE, and this report will be submitted to DOE this week. I will let you know the other items listed. There are budget transfers, budget revisions for the month of June. These are needed to close out the fiscal year. You will see quite a bit of them there. And the ESC 348 and the cost report are submitted electronically to DOE through their portal. At this time, I will take any questions on these financials.
Any questions from the board, from Ms. Wormack on this?
Besides the COP savings, I was wondering what other items or strategies were used in order to, meet the ever shrinking pool of funds, but yet raise our fund balance to that 7.8%. If you could highlight maybe the top 3 that you think were most effective.
Well, I do, and I'll, Superintendent Moore, if you have anything to chime in, I will say we started planning over a year ago because of the ESSER funds that were going away. So we did very strategically strategize on positions being held, not refilling, using overages through attrition. So as you know, the salaries and benefits, it takes up over 80% of our fund balance, of our budget. So that's a huge piece. You're not gonna save money through classroom supplies. You're gonna save it through salaries. So we did strategize over a year ago and make sure that we held our schools and our departments to that. We also had departments go through their budget and do a 4% reduction to save cost. We started that in preparation for this next fiscal year. But I would say the biggest thing we did was holding strong on our positions and knowing that our ESSER funds were going to be gone by this past September, making sure that we didn't hold on to unnecessary positions. And when we did use our ESSER funds, we didn't heavily use it on positions like some school districts. So we were fortunate to not be really hanging off that cliff like some other districts were.
What is your take or analysis on the cafeteria funding we currently still offer 0 charge for breakfast and lunches. But my understanding is much of that money comes from Medicaid, SNAP enrollments. And as those numbers may decrease, so would our allotment of funds to that. Do you see that we're able to continue that program at 0 cost for families for the next several years, or do you feel that we need to take a look on perhaps scaling or addressing potential fund losses?
I will not pretend to be an expert on that at all.
I can answer that question. So we're coming up on 1 year left within that program, and so the board is going to have to reconsider that. What I would say preliminarily is that we may have to consider doing 2 models within the district, that the entire district is not free, but there may be schools individually that would qualify where we would go back for other schools that would have a cost associated with free and reduced lunch. Because as you're stating, with the changes of the direct certification, those numbers are having an impact on our ability to be able to sustain the free breakfast and lunch across the entire district. So we'll have to look at that and consider that, and kind of weigh the options of which direction do we go. Do we go 2 programs in 1 school district, which is common for districts, or do we kind of decide which of the 2 would be most appropriate?
I mean, even families that don't qualify for Medicaid or SNAP to go from night and day to free to paid can be quite,
Yes.
troubling, and many of those families have less disposable income. So I'm wondering if there's a third option as well in terms of a modified adjustment, maybe not back to full cost, but a modified, which would allow us a longer runway to hold those discounts for all of our.
And if we do have to go into a different model, it will be, families will have notice to know what the impact is going to be it that you're paying, full price or you're doing a reduced price. They will have the notice to know that change is coming. But that is something that we will begin talking about, as we close out this school year.
Okay, thank you.
And I know they have applications, so prior, years ago, you would fill out, and then, maybe 40 cents for a lunch or 25 cents for lunch.
Yeah, which will be a change because we haven't had to do that in a while, so that will be a change to go back there. But as we bring on our new food services director October 1st, this is be the first thing that he will begin to pick up on and begin to run with. One of the major things that impacted this department last school year was hurricane days. And so when we're not in school, they're not receiving funding. But there still is a cost that's associated with that, right? Cost for staff, cost for the food we've already spent and all of that. So that was one of the major hits to this department here.
And that also begs the issue of the administrative oversight, because you're going to have to manage all that paperwork. We would want to take a look at streamlining that, because we don't want to lose central personnel utilization or cost to those administrative pieces that are going to return.
I agree.
I just wanted to highlight something about the reserves. Now, when we have 2 payrolls a month, right? And how much is each payroll approximately?
$5 million.
Right. So I just want to put it in perspective that having an 8%, but it sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. It's $11 million. But essentially what we have here is a bridge for 2 payrolls, right, amongst every other thing. So this is, we were way down, where it would have been catastrophic had we had a major financial hit early on. As a matter of fact, I recall that we were at maybe 1 and change percent of the state being able to come in and taking over our books. So this is an outstanding effort and result by the district. I want to highlight that, because this is not easy to do when we are always working within the framework of these funds that we can't raise money like a business can to do this. We have to do this within allocations that we get. And this sets us up for success for the future, knowing that, and this is for our organization to know that we have this money here, that if something happens, we can make payroll, right?
Yeah,
and we don't, because our alternatives, we'd have to either borrow it or, we've done anticipation bonds before, right?
Yes.
So that saves us money too, because the interest on those tax anticipation bonds can add up really quick.
And I will tell you too, thank you for that point, I will tell you that it has been probably about 4 to 5 years that we have not had to take out a tax anticipation note. What that is most school districts take that out in the summer in order to meet their payroll until the property tax funds roll in, which does not happen until Thanksgiving. So a lot of school districts have to take that out to be able to pay their payroll. It's a short-term note that is paid off 6 months later. But when we used to take it out, it was $10 million. And because of our work in keeping our capital funds high and at a stable fund balance, we have been able to not have to take that short-term note out, and it saves about $100,000 of interest each year.
I like to say I've actually heard that from several school districts, so as we meet with them across the state. So we do a lot of good things, so thank you for that. And then highlighting the emergency cost. So everyone, if you have an emergency fund for your family, it's similar. So just so the public's aware, we don't know what could happen. So when a pipe bursts in a school, it's similar to your home. So having that extra cushion is what, is very important. And we do have a lot of needs. We have a lot of wants, but we have a lot of needs. So I'm glad to hear that we have that cushion for the needs that might happen. And even though I like to state that with, learning a lot through this insurance, we have insurance, of course. However, I also have learned we do not get that reimbursement, sometimes over a year plus or so. So we have to have that fund to cover. So I'm excited to hear that we have that cushion for the need.
We'll now resume our meeting. Just for the benefit of the public, we had a power outage, and that's why the feed dropped. But we are now back, and we'll return the floor to Ms. Wormack.
Yes, just as I think we were talking about the tax anticipation note, Mr. Furry, the question was, when was the last time we had to take it out? Or that we had to take it out. It was 2021. We have not had to take one out since then. We have taken it out as long as I've been here, which was 2011, and even prior to that, it was $10 million taken out each summer and paid off in January.
Mm-hmm. So the total amount of the bond was $10 million.
Correct.
And the interest every year was about $100,000.
It was about $100,000,
Okay.
and that comes straight out of the general fund.
Gotcha. Okay, well, this is a significant change of events for Flagler Schools, so well done on that. Any other questions on what's been discussed already before we move on? Okay, Ms. Moore, go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay, so that concludes your presentation. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yes.
Was there anything more nothing more to add, right? Okay.
That is
sorry.
it, if there are no more questions.
Okay, so then now we will vote on this here. So I'll need a motion to approve agenda item 3.01. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
I have a move by Ms. Ruddy,
Second.
second by Ms. Ramirez. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wormack. Okay, so that leads us to public comment. Is there any public comment?
There are no public comments.
Okay, so we will close public comments, and we will just move on to board member comments. Are there any additional comments from the board?
No.
Okay. Very good, thank you. I just want to once again highlight a significant achievement here in this year's annual financial report and cost report, that we have significantly put Flagler Schools in a healthier financial position, and have set it up to eliminate the need for future tax anticipation bonds that have been costing the district over $100,000 a year in interest, which that's valuable money that can go back into education, because that money was affecting our general fund. So well done to the entire team and Ms. Wormack for leading that charge. And that concludes my comments. Superintendent Moore?
See you at 1 o'clock.
Okay, this meeting's adjourned.